Hi everybody, Martin Millett here, hope you're going well. It's been almost 2 weeks since my beloved cat, Ramsay, passed away in Sydney, Australia. Now, for all those people who follow me on social media, like Instagram, you would have seen me taking screenshot photographs of my cat, Ramsay, when I'm on a FaceTime call to my mother in Australia. I was 20 years old when my mom and my brother decided to pay 1,500 Australian dollars to buy a purebred red Burmese from a cat breeder who was the wife of our vet called Jeff in Western Sydney. So we bought this kitten aged 3 months old in October 2006, and this was before my 21st birthday. We named him Ramsay after the Egyptian god, but I always spelled him like the surname of Gordon Ramsay. So I grew up in Australia with pets. When I was born, we had a cat called Cognac, who was a tabby, and then she went away in 1994 to pass away. And then for 10 years, we had this Moggy called Joey, who lived till he was 13 and passed away in early 2006. I also had 3 dogs, a Rottweiler called Rocky, whom we had to euthanize because he bit one of my brother's friends off about 30 years ago. Then we adopted a Maltese called Moppet, who was vicious. And then in 1997 we adopted a Maltese dog called Casey, who was also vicious, but lived until age 12. So I grew up with cats and dogs, and as well as a fish tank full of fish. And even, hell, I had a pond in my backyard in Sydney, Australia. And a goldfish I bought in 2000 lived for like 7 years. And even when I bought another goldfish, they bred and had more children. So that was quite an interesting story. But my cat Ramsay was an adorable cat. He was a purebred Burmese. And we spent a lot of money on him. And he gave us 18 years. 18 years. Normally cats do live longer than dogs. Average life for a dog is like 12, 13. Average year for a cat is like 15. But Ramsay lived for 18.5 years. He was really sick in his last week of life or so. Just not sleeping, eating, hardly moving around much. And so after 2 weeks of illness, Mum basically decided to take him to the vet to be euthanized, put to sleep. But for the last couple of years, Mum had thought about putting Ramsay to sleep because he was having bowel movements. So for the last 6 years, my cat was having to have laxatives just to go to the bathroom. And then when my cat was 10 years old, my mum and my brother moved house in Sydney, and that move was quite stressful, to a cat who lived in 3 different properties in his lifetime. My life of growing up with Ramsay from 20 to 30 he was such an amazing cat. Never scratched me, never bit me, although he did bite my mum. But he always remembered me, because I left Australia 8 years ago, said goodbye to Ramsay, and I wasn't able to FaceTime my mother for 3 years until I got myself a bloody iPhone. So once I was able to figure out iPhone connections and FaceTime, I was able to talk to my cat every day. Yeah, nearly every day of the week. I call up and I said, "Mom, where's Ramsay?" So Mom would have to go upstairs or downstairs, find the cat. And, I would talk to him, and then silly enough, I'd whistle. Because that's how you call a cat. And then some days Ramsay would attack my mother holding the iPhone. What's even more funny enough is that when I was calling my mom on a brick phone, my mom would be yelling down the phone like, "Ramsay, stop biting me!" Even though I couldn't physically see my cat. Yes. So I have a video on my YouTube channel that I filmed of Ramsay when he was about 6 years old. He got himself stuck in a cupboard. He basically just decided to open up a cupboard and look inside and close the door behind him. Then all of a sudden I see this paw trying to open up the door, And I remember I whipped out my mum's iPad and I filmed it. I filmed Ramsay opening this cupboard door, and I was telling him what a silly cat he was. Yeah. And so it's quite sad for anybody at any age to lose a pet, especially when you've had a pet for many years, 18 years in whole. Like, I got Ramsay when I was, 20 years and 11 months old, and then Ramsay passed away a few weeks after my 39th birthday, so Ramsay was around for 3 decades. Not 30 years, but he was alive in 3 different decades. And so, for my mother and brother who still live in Sydney, Australia, I don't think they would ever get another cat or a dog. I myself, I can't have cats or pets or anything where I'm living in this country. I mean, I could have, a tiny fish tank like I did back in Australia, with a tiny motor, charcoal filter, keep a few small fishes, like maybe a crab or something like that. But it's just that I don't really want to focus my time and energy on animals because I'm more focused on travel. I'm more focused on going abroad every now and then. You go abroad, you got to ask someone to look after your animals, because these days you can take your, of course, pets can have passports, cats and dogs can have passports. You can take your cat, your dog in a car, drive to France, make sure that it's all its vaccines, it has a passport. But trying to take an animal into Australia, tough luck, mate. Lots of money, lots of quarantine time for that animal. Seriously, serious business. So I'm fortunate that I grew up with pets in my life, with a cat, with a dog, with fish, and a bunny rabbit who once came into my backyard for a couple of days that my brother caught, put in Ramsay's hutch, and my nephews would come over and feed the rabbit until my brother released it at Crestwood Reserve in my suburb in Western Sydney. So there won't be any more, photographs of Ramsay, but every now and then I might upload something on Instagram. It's hard posting something on Cat Day when I don't have a cat in my life. The only other cats in my life these days are all the neighbours' cats in my part of London. There's so many tuxedos, there's a Siamese, there's a ragdoll who once scratched me. There's just so many different cats in my area. It's so damn crazy enough. So you get plenty of Cat Day photographs from local moggies that I do meet in the streets of London. Anyway, I love your pets and treat them well, because the important thing is they'll give you memories that you'll never ever forget about. Well, at the Millhead, I'm over and out.